All right, I think we'll get started and the folks will come in when they do online. So good morning, Dringwinzi Uvlami. My name is Alyssa Carpenter. I'm director of Western Arctic Youth Collective. And I'm so happy to be here and that you all have made time in your day to start us off in a really good way. We'll go into more detail of what this event all is, but and why we're here today. In the chat, I've kind of put an order of people who will be speaking. And also, but first I wanna have is we're gonna have a Qulliq that is lit for us to start. I will pass it off to them to introduce themselves and they will also share some really valuable traditional knowledge.
Hello. Ulakut aksanevonga nuna vemmeotavonga. I know vemmeotungamana unaholle kilangasiya. Good morning. My name is Arsaniq. I'm from Nunavik, Quebec. I'll be lighting this Qulliq for you and explain my steps and how it was lit before there were lighters and before there was soapstone that they used. So the earliest Qulliq that was recorded was around 3,000 years ago, but it's been around for longer than that. And they'd be made out of rocks, but this was carved out of soapstone from a man in my community of Qulliq. It's standing on 2 antlers right now. And I'm using the stick to tend to it. I had an antler one, but my dog ate it. So yeah. So I just found this stick. Well, I took it off from a tree. I ripped it. So date sumani nanik suputimi uvvaloni manimi atohattasimayu. So a long time ago, they would use Arctic cotton or moss to use as a fire starter. And they would pound the seal fat in order to make fuel for the lamp. My Qulliq here is about 7 inches, but usually and traditionally they would have as big as 2 to 3 feet to keep the igloo or the tent warm throughout the years. And they would gather cotton or moss so they can use it throughout all the winter. And they used it to dry clothes. They used it for cooking. They used it as a heating tool. A lot of the time clothes would get wet throughout the season. So they would have a built heating rack called an iktak. So, and they would use stone flints to make a spark. They would do this with 2 stone flints to start a fire on the Qulliq. And the children were taught that it is not a toy and they shouldn't come near it. And they were taught that the flames are dangerous. So it was only the women or the adults who tended to it, or the teenagers. And hunters would have a lot smaller ones than I have here. They would carry about 4 inches, a pocket-sized Qulliq, so they can bring it with them as they go hunting in case they get stranded. So they bring their snow knife and their little Qulliq to keep them warm. So they make an igloo. So today, a lot of people use canola oil. So I'll be using canola oil since I don't have seal fat or whale fat. But also caribou fat was not a good source for fuel because it wouldn't light the Qulliq very well. So only seal fat and well fat were used. Right now, I just cut up some little towels. You can use store-bought cotton balls or paper towel or towels to light it. And I'm using matches to light it now. I don't know if you can see, but I really hope so. If not, then I'll move my camera around. So this was used for survival. Now it's mostly used for ceremonies and to open special events. It was a source of survival. So whenever I feel down or I need to relax, I just light my Qulliq and I just think, or I just cry my eyes out and just stare at the Qulliq. It's really soothing and it's really personal when you're next to the flame. You can feel the warmth and the peace from it. If this were in person. So I use this. I also light it before I tattoo traditionally. And it really makes the environment more peaceful. And if you see up close, the flames kind of look like dancing northern lights.
Mhm.
And this little Qulliq I have really warms up big living room spaces. You can really feel it when it's been on for a while. So the mother would tend to the fire all night so it can keep their igloo warm. So they'd wake up every few hours or so to keep it going and to add more whale fat or seal fat.
Wow.
So the man who made this Qulliq for me, I asked for a travel size one and he said, it's not, I'm not gonna call it a Qulliq because it's too small to be a Qulliq, so it's just a lamp. But one day I want a really big one for my house. So elders say that if it's not lit evenly, it's not lit properly. You really have to poke at it. More oil in there, just a tiny bit. And it gets really hot when you're in front of the Qulliq for, say, 15 minutes. So I first lit the Qulliq, I think about 3-4 years ago when I was 17. And it's a really special moment when you light the Qulliq for the first time. So if the cotton is too wet from oil, it won't light. So you'd have to squeeze out a bit of oil so it can be able to spark a fire. So it has to be the perfect amount of wet from the oil. One of my goals is to get a really big one and bake bannock on it.
Amazing. Kulikowski, thank you so much for starting us off in a really beautiful, lovely way. Even in a virtual space, we're able to incorporate such beautiful teachings, and to have a young person leading it is really amazing to see. So I'm a little bit crying here. It's beautiful for me to see. Thank you so much for also lighting it and keeping it there for us. I'm going to start. Yes. I'm going to pass it off. Gerry, would you like to share some words before we all get started here?
Yes. Kyikavichik, Inuit, Van Gwinzi, Shakwichin Kat, and Uvanga, Shuligaluk, Alatkashik. In the Gwich'in way, my grandmother called me Kwatlati. I'd just like to say a good morning to each and every one of you and everyone taking part. And I wish you a great week. And it's so nice to see Arsaniq with your Qulliq, Qulliq Matna, and to all the participants that are going to be taking part this week. You know, we got to think about what's going on in the world today, and with all that, you know, we have to try to keep our people as healthy and as happy as we can be, even though we might be isolated in one way or another. And I'd just like to wish each and every one of you a safe day, a safe couple of days while you're at this here gathering. Stay warm, stay safe, stay healthy, keep washing your hands, and let's keep looking after the little ones. In my dad's language, we say Koinak, Koinakpak. In my mother's language, Hai Cho. Have a good day.
Inaini, Haicho, Masicho, thank you so much, Gerry, for being here. Gerry has one of the elders who wrote in our recommendation for the AIP nomination process. So I'm so grateful that he's always here willing to support us. I'm going to pass it off to Corrine.
I want your job, Alyssa. Yeah, I echo the sentiments already stated here today. Kuyanaini Arsaniq for opening us up in such a beautiful way in your generosity and sharing your Qulliq with us. Uvlami Dringwinzi, good morning, my friends. My name is Corrine Bullock, and I'm coming to you from my home community of Inuvik, Northwest Territories. I am honored to be joining you today in giving opening remarks as a member and representative of the Western Arctic Youth Collective. We are a small but mighty team brought together by a vision of connecting and uniting the voices of youth in the Western Arctic, peer-to-peer, community-to-community, and nation-to-nation. The beauty of an event such as today's Local to Global and the theme surrounding mental wellness and life promotion is that it takes a collaborative community of like-minded individuals on the ground locally, but also at the international level to join in partnership and to network and form that global context. It is incredibly encouraging that during a time in our history where physical distance is at an all-time high, that we are able to change the narrative presented to us and close that distance gap, coming together and connecting with one another stronger and more authentically than ever before. The in-person and virtual events being offered over the next few days represent the culmination of a community in partnership and work by dozens of people representing youth in various forms and capacities across our communities, regionally, nationally, and within the circumpolar context. It can be very lonely and hard work grappling with difficult concepts, conflicting values, multiple interests, and large-scale changes that don't often include our perspectives. Just know that you are not alone. This space has been created to not only connect you up to a global conversation, but to normalize these conversations in our own communities, within our support networks, and our own homes and families. My hope for the youth over the next few days of programming is that you find a safe and inclusive space and stories that resonate with your own, a place of belonging where you are free to be yourself, a place of generosity that inspires you to find strength in vulnerability, and also self-care tools that guide you on those days of darkness. The video screenings, activities, and panelists over the next few days are focused to align you with different creative outlets that we hope you find relaxing and inspiring, and a place to share our most powerful point of connection, our stories. Kuyanaini, Haicho, and thank you and enjoy.
Ole, deadly way to start. Masi Kuyanaini Corrine. Love it. Thank you so much for being here and who you are and support you've given us and just the direction and guidance. We appreciate it so much. I'm going to pass it off to our Mayor of Inuvik, Natasha, and I'm so grateful as she nominated our group as well. And we're so grateful that you're here to join us as well.
Thank you, Natasha.
Happy to do it. And thank you, Alyssa and Gerry and Arsaniq for your opening. That was beautiful. So my name is Natasha Kulikowski. I'm the mayor here in Inuvik. have a little bit different of an opening for me. Usually I keep it pretty business-like, but I wanted to kind of reach out. So I'll get through the business first and then get into kind of what I wanted to add. So as we adapt to the new ways of the world, I'm excited to see local to global happening here, both in Inuvik and online, so that we can all connect. I encourage you to be open throughout this event, to allow yourself to share your voice, to listen, to be strong, and to be brave. You may have heard that youth are the leaders of the future. You may even be tired of hearing that. But I'm here to tell you that it's true. It wasn't that long ago that me and Kristine and Ken and others were youth. And now look at where we are. So absolutely, it is available to you. And you need to know that you're worth it. You're worthy, and you can do whatever you set your mind to. I want to know that I will keep space for all of you. I will hear your voices, I'll witness your strengths, and I will literally keep a seat at the table for you, any table, to welcome you and lead by your side. Please reach out to me. Alyssa has my contact information for any youth out there who are looking for any sort of mentorship or advice or even just a conversation. I am available. And I hope that over the next couple of days, you have a productive and fulfilling experience because you are literally working together to build our future. So thank you for having me to say some words today, and I look forward to seeing how we build towards that future together. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very nice. Thank you. Thank you so much. And you said, did you want to share anything else, or should I pass it on to our grad chief? You're okay? We're all here together for this, and thank you. I would like to pass it off to our Gwich'in Tribal Council Grand Chief Ken Smith.
Yeah, I think we were gonna have
Oh, sorry.
Deputy
Yes,
Grand Chief.
Deputy. My bad.
Yeah.
Deputy Grand Chief first, please. Thank you.
No problem. I was just going to go with it.
I appreciate it.
Good morning, everyone. Van Guinzi. My name is Kristine McLeod, the Deputy Grand Chief of the Gwich'in Tribal Council. Ken Smith, Grand Chief Ken Smith and I were elected in early September, so we're about 6 months in now, and we are both very happy to be here today. It's very nice to see some familiar faces and also some new faces as well. And I have to say that I'm really happy to see the amount of youth that are taking part in the leadership activities of late, especially within the communities. Also, a very special thanks to the WAYC team. Alyssa and Corrine, you ladies are rock stars, and we're very proud of all the work that you've been doing lately. And the amazing work you've done in the region across the north, and I'll have to say that it's inspiring to say the least. I wish you all positive discussions over the next few days as you address the various issues affecting not only the youth in the north, but all the residents. Mental health is an area that has received increased attention in recent years, but it's still not enough. It is heartening to see the youth take the lead on this important initiative and make progress towards improving lives of our people. And as we know, our culture is key to maintaining our overall well-being, especially our mental wellness. So it is great to see cultural identity being interwoven with this important topic. Mental health and wellness is an area that many people in our communities struggle with, and they should not have to do it alone. That is the clear message being sent by our youth in conducting events like this. And you are not alone. There are resources for you, and we are together in this, and we are here for you. Our youth are leading the way on mental wellness and many other important areas of conversation like global warming, cultural revival, and youth initiatives. I cannot understate the importance of youth leadership in these areas and many others. The youth are truly the future of our North. Like Natasha said, Mayor Natasha, it wasn't very long ago at all that that we were youth as well, and we were told our whole lives that the youth are the future. And so now it's really heartwarming, and it's amazing to see the youth stepping up, and we're very proud of you all. And when I see events like this one, I'm very hopeful for that future. So Masi Cho, and I wish you guys the best over the next couple of days.
Hai Cho.
Hi, Cho, Masi Cho, Kuyanani, thank you so much. Now I'm going to pass it off to Grand Chief Ken Smith. Thank you.
Hi, Cho, Alyssa, and as well, hi, Cho, going out to Corrine and Gerry, Kulikowski, and Arsaniq for the wonderful display here this morning to ground us all and really reminding us of why we're here, to acknowledge the tradition and the history that we're blessed with in this part of the country. And it's an honor for me to be here. And I truly mean that, in that seeing our young people, nothing gives me more pride and more energy than to see our young people working together on their own accord to change the North for the better. And I'd like to acknowledge the work by WAYC and the others that are supporting this organization in your efforts to find new ways and find your own ways to try to foster a healthier and a stronger North moving into the future. It is that energy and ideas that you bring to the table that really is unmatched and unparalleled in our communities. And I ask that you continue to keep it up, because what you're doing, whether you know it or not, and I see it and other leadership see it, is you're bringing our traditions to the forefront with technology, with new means like this. Yes, the pandemic has provided some challenges to us, but look at what you're doing here. You've put together a collaboration and a gathering of our people while also following the pandemic of a generation and the rules and the things that we need to do and have in place to protect our people. So I'd like to say Hai Cho for that on behalf of the Gwich'in. For those Gwich'in participants, Hai Cho for your participation in this effort, and continue to work with each other, no matter what your heritage is, because that's so incredibly important, that we don't draw lines between ourselves, but we use our history and our heritage to help understand who we are. And while you're at this session, one of the things you'll find moving forward, it's sessions like these that really build those relationships, those partnerships that you're going to bring into your careers as you move forward. Cultivate them. This session isn't about being right. It's not about being the loudest voice. One of the things I take immense pride in, and I've been fortunate to have by learning from our elders, is the ability to listen. Truly listen and understand each other, and take time. It takes energy to try and understand a person's point of view. And in that, I think you can help people help find their voice by truly listening to them. Because like anybody, as young people, you struggle to share your voice, because in some cases you feel that people aren't listening. And the one thing I do want to share with all of you, and one thing that I've learned in my career, is that people are watching even when you don't think they are. If you're a young person in the community, someday if you have aspirations of running for office or doing something for the benefit of your community, what you do today in terms of good or bad is going to have benefits into the future. So I encourage you to continue, or an impact into the future. I encourage you to continue doing the good work that you're doing today, because people are noticing, people are appreciative. And be kind to one another, because the world is wicked enough. We cannot be hateful. We cannot be judging of one another. Let's be supportive of one another and see what we could change. And one of the other things that I've learned in my career is be the change that you want to see in your communities and the world. It's amazing what will happen when you work with each other to try to make that into a reality. So with that, I'd like to wish you all a great week working with one another. Take the time to truly enjoy what it is that you're doing and listen to one another. And with that, I'd like to say Hai Cho for the opportunity to be able to speak with you all today.
Hi, Joe, Grand Chief. Hi, Joe.
Hi, Joe. Powerful. Masi kuyanani, everybody. All right. And last but not least, I'm gonna pass it off to how we got here all today. Devlin is the executive director of the Gwich'in Council International, and she asked our group to help bring these films to the forefront and then use them as an anchor to bring in these meaningful conversations that we know we need to have, and also share some training workshops and really beautiful and empowering stories. So I'm going to pass it off to Devlin, who's been a rock of a support remotely. Yeah, and then we will show you some films. Thank you, everybody.
Ben Gwinzy, good morning. Thank you, Messi. Alyssa and the team at WAYC have worked incredibly hard over the last few months to make this happen. And and the whole team at Gwich'in Council International is supremely impressed and so proud to be able to see them do this. As introduced, my name is Devlin. I'm joining you virtually from Yellowknife, where it is snowing like crazy. And so we're hoping that Charla's plane gets off with no issues whatsoever today. So she'll be there this evening. I'm pleased to share these opening remarks on behalf of Sarah Cox, who is the Canadian head of delegation to the Arctic Council's Sustainable Development Working Group. And she sends her regrets that she was unable to join us today. But this project comes from the Sustainable Development Working Group and its thematic area of human health. Local to Global is the fourth iteration of a project focused on building circumpolar connections and collaborations that foster mental wellness between youth, Indigenous peoples, health practitioners, researchers, policymakers, and others. And it is led by Canada and the Inuit Circumpolar Council. Mental wellness is an incredibly important issue across every Arctic country, and the health and well-being of youth is a priority for Arctic communities and a priority for the Arctic Council. Under the last Sustainable Development Working Group Mental Wellness Project Creates, we brought together Indigenous youth from every Arctic country to talk about mental wellness and resilience and what these things have meant for them throughout their lives. The youth created short videos about their mental wellness experiences and what living and life mean to them. We are thrilled to see some of those youth and their films being showcased this week. With Local to Global, work continues on building international collaborations as well as youth and community capacity building. The Inuit Circumpolar Council is running a knowledge exchange to trade best practices with health workers in different countries and Arctic communities to learn how others in the Arctic support mental wellness of their youth. We are also looking at a research initiative on how childhood experiences can affect mental wellness in teens and youth as they grow older. By understanding the effects of negative life experiences, we can foster resilience in youth. Local to Global is a powerful and truly special project of the Arctic Council as it incorporates youth in many of its activities and connects youth from different cultures and countries. Mental wellness is such an important and pressing topic, especially for youth across the Arctic. We are so pleased to support events this week, designed and led by youth, and see this as a model for future events. We hope you will all become or continue to be involved with mental wellness initiatives. And a huge thank you for everyone for being here and the speakers for creating the space and remarks. I'll turn it over to Dr. Allison Crawford, who's been the technical lead for Project Creates and Local to Global, before it goes back to Alyssa. Hi, Cho.
Hello, thank you, Devlin. Hi, everyone, good morning. And I see more youth filtering in, so that's really exciting. We have kind of a small camera on you guys, but welcome. It really warms my heart to be here. Unfortunately, I'm in Toronto right now. I wish I could be there in person. And I'll tell you a little bit more about Project Creates. So I'm a psychiatrist by training, and I lived in Nunavut for many years and do a lot of my work in the north. And I'm also a researcher in mental well-being, and was really glad to participate with the Inuit Circumpolar Council and the Arctic Council, because I was really finding that medicine and psychiatry, that's really not just what wellness is about. And we all know that. That's why we're here. We were doing a lot of research into mental wellness and really finding that youth weren't at the table. We didn't have the opportunity to hear from youth about what was important to them. And so we came up with the idea of Project Creates, and it's circumpolar resilience, engagement, and action through story. And each of those words is important. The engagement, we need to hear from youth. We know that our young people have so many ideas, so much strength to share, and we need them at the table. And I think today is such a good example of how that can happen. And so through hearing stories, we were able to hear some of that information and to listen. I think listen not just with our technical ears, but with our hearts, and hear from youth. And also, I think youth told stories that we weren't hearing before. They told about how culture and language, how the land, how their families, how the strength of their ancestors and elders were so important to them. And things we all know, but to bring that into this space of wellness and to think about that as a source of strength and resilience. And then to be able to bring that information to tables where people make policy, like the Arctic Council, I think has been incredible. And I also want to read what, actually I won't read the whole quote, but one of the youth said, like, how uplifting it was to be able to connect with youth outside of their own regions and areas and to learn from each other. We had Sami youth talking to Russian youth, talking to Gwich'in youth, and it was really incredible. So I'm very happy to see, we say local to global, but this also shows global to local. So all the work you guys have done to bring these stories back to youth in the community, and hopefully they'll resonate, and that the action part of this will also keep being a reality, getting people engaged and working together. So thank you for having me, and I hope you enjoy the stories. And we have 4 more years of this too, so there'll be other opportunities to do more storytelling and more engagement with each other. But it gives me a lot of hope for the future to see you all and know that you're connecting. So masicho.
Thank you so much for that. And with the time that we have left, especially now, if you can see the screen of JC's name, we have students joining from East 3 Secondary School. And I'm so proud of you all being in the room and listening and absorbing everything here, because what they're sharing is so important, and them acknowledging you as young people in the future is so important. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to show a little documentary that is all on the Project Creates website. And then I'm going to show a quick sample of some of the stories, and we'll keep showcasing these stories and videos throughout the week. So I'm just going to share my screen here. Just give me a moment.
Hi, Alyssa. I don't know if we have sound.
Sorry, folks. I just said someone's not hearing sound here. A quick little check to make sure we have that. Sorry about that. Technology always gets us, doesn't it? All right, here. All right, I'm gonna try it one more time, but it's good note for practice if we have to do this again. Okay, I'm gonna try it one more time here to see if it works. Okay, so it's not working on my end. I apologize, everybody. But we are going to show the videos to the young people. And for the folks who have joined us here for the opening remarks, thank you so much for doing what you do, for sharing what you've shared, and speaking so honestly and truthfully, because I think it's so powerful when our leaders, when examples and role models in our community are echoing the importance of this. So I'm gonna let these young people in the space at the Midnight Sun Rec Complex. And for the folks who are coming there tomorrow, you will see them again in person. So be prepared. And then tomorrow as well, you'll also hear from youth on a panel for our reverse town hall. They are the experts. You get to ask them questions. Yeah. And then the schedule is all online on Facebook. I've emailed a few as well. Please share it. Please encourage others. There's a lot of virtual aspects. Put it on the background. It's going to be really powerful when we hear a lot of these young people across the North speaking. And we have some international youth as well. So thank you so much. Enjoy your day. Haicho, masicho, kuyanaini. And we look forward to having you with us in this experience.
Bye, everyone.
Matna.
Bye.
Hey, Cho.
Kuyanani.
Okay, I'm gonna try to do a quick share here. Sorry, students who were there in person and who want to do this. Yeah, Holly, I can make you a host. Do you want to try it? See if you have better luck. And JC, for the folks who are at the Midnight Sun Rec Complex, JC, I've put in the chat the video if you just want to play the Project Create and show them a couple of the youth videos. And then we'll go from there for after the morning.
What do I do? Do I just turn this on?
Do you want to just stay with us for a bit if we can get it going?
Sure.
Thank you.
Let me fix my camera.
JC, Bobby Rose, do you folks want to play the Project Creates documentary that I put in the chat link? And then you can show a couple of the videos on the website. And to have the young people participate in the exchange that are there.
So we're really excited to share Project Creates. Creates is circumpolar resilience, engagement, and action through story. And it's the work of the Sustainable Development Working Group of the Arctic Council and also the Inuit Circumpolar Council. And we bring together youth from across the circumpolar states and invited by the permanent participant organizations of the Arctic Council. And the whole idea we realized in doing suicide prevention through the SDWG, that one of the things that was missing was community engagement and especially youth voices. And they're the ones that are the most impacted. Everyone's impacted by suicide in different Arctic contexts, but especially the youth. And they have so much knowledge and resilience and strength. And we really wanted to bring them together to talk about their own experiences through story and to share those stories with each other, and then really to use stories to take action in the Arctic Council and beyond. So to really impact suicide prevention in their own ways and to bring that knowledge forward. And they have really done that. They're just amazing. Their energy is infectious. They have so much creativity. And what we didn't anticipate doing this project, of course, we wanted to hear their perspectives, but the strength of the community that they would form through meeting with each other. There was a lot of excitement and immediate recognition. So Sami youth working with Inupiat and Inuit youth, immediate connection and shared stories and experiences.
Always when we talk about suicide, it's about youth, but we're not necessarily including youth in the discussion. So having a workshop like this really gives the youth a voice, and they're so strong and they're so powerful and they're generous in sharing their stories. So for them to do stories that we can share with other youth is so important for us to just remember that this is actually youth that we're talking about.
I think a lot of the young people, they went through some healing this weekend. We held this workshop. A lot of it was really heavy stuff, but as some of them also said, it gave a lot of hope. There is always hope, and even though they've been crying, we've been crying, there is still smiles behind the tears in a way.
My film that I created is called Skoden, Not Worried. I think it was the three guys walking side to side, and just looking at that video right there, to me it looked like they were confident. They know what they were doing. They weren't worried. So the title of the rap is called Alaskan Grown, and actually the first lyrics are it's in my native language. It's in Inuvik, The first lyrics are Lisa Sham Gami Lisa Chikakut Downa Yokako Ganadam Konkuda Nasuluda Nasukut Igamalis Giganada Kayalis Gigadukut. And so what it's talking about is let me just tell you a story right here. I was actually hanging out with an elder back home, and he was looking out the window, and he said something to me that, you know, changed a little bit of the thinking process that I had. He said, you know, these older people back home, they encourage you so much to do things that their ancestors did, but the way that our ancestors learned was to watch, you know, the people before them. And if you guys don't have anyone to watch, and how are you going to learn? And so it's kind of like calling them out, but, you know, it's for the safety of our, you know, the way of life. They need to realize that if they want us to learn these things, they're going to actually be the ones that have to teach us. You can't just tell someone to learn how to do this without showing them how to do it. With the things that I've learned, I wish to put it into a song where everyone could listen to, you know, everyone could enjoy. And while they're enjoying it, they're also learning something new. They're learning do's and don'ts of life, as what we would call it.
In addition to creating stories at the close of each workshop, because the workshop itself is just as important as the stories. You really see the youth come together, share, and create a very special shared space. So we always leave time at the end of each workshop to hear back from them about what their experiences of the workshop itself have been. And youth have been extremely positive about it. It's really helped them to feel, you know, like they can take action and that their ideas are valued and meaningful, and also that they have a safe place themselves to talk about some experiences that have been very challenging and painful, even while they make meaning out of those experiences and get to tell their story and create something very, you know, strong and resilient from difficult experience.
They prompted a question to us, and it was about living or dying. And I guess I chose living in sort of two worlds, in a modern and a traditional world. And then Nicholas asked if I wanted to work with him. So we talked about sort of the idea of living in two worlds, and the story kind of was, our story kind of like really fit together, like the experience. And
yeah, because not all Indigenous people feel like a part of their community, and when you don't have your community, you still have the modern society, but you're still not a part of it because you're an Indigenous person.
What is missing?
It feels like a piece is missing in my Swedish identity, in my Sami identity,
in my Canadian identity, in my Inuvik identity.
Two worlds, two standards, separated but connected.
We are creating a project website, and that will allow the stories to be shared, you know, to a much wider community, and to hopefully grow that community, and then to actually take action by getting some of the youth ideas and putting them into action through policy and enacting some of their ideas for suicide prevention.
Even though we have the highest rate of suicide per capita, we are still here trying to change the narrative. Even though our Indigenous sisters are missing and murdered and seemingly no one is fighting on their behalf, we are still here seeking justice. Even though our languages are dying, we are still here to speak and be heard. Even though we, as youth, feel ashamed of our ignorance, we are still here to learn.
Kisising nanati ng mina inuna kimaki asenin na ayuna iminut parina inokamut baksina iminut asuli miloro yutinang nani samunga samunga katengu-tingu asilumi asasang waru kisarliok purayoko sumitusi apakutigiyo
Hi, Holly. Can you make me host again? There we go. We're going to try this one more time, folks. Can folks see it? Hope folks can hear it.
So I learned a lot in class, in Winukton class, but the classroom setting wasn't helping me. It wasn't helping me stay fluent. It wasn't working. So like obviously I'm not speaking it now. So it all depends on like how it's being taught. I think we just need a better setting and someone really dedicated. I wish I learned it more in my home life rather than the school setting, because if I had both, I'd honestly be more fluent by now. Seeing that how we're losing our language and really like encouraged me to really just take it and learn it myself. Like just not wait for school and not wait for someone to come in and teach me. I'll just look for it. I also I'm just naturally just interested in learning another language. I like the fact that other than North America, other people know like 5 languages and we don't. Like I don't even know one. I barely know my native one. I think it's given me more meaning on what I want to do with like my career and what I want to do with my life. It gives me, I guess it just gives me a reason. Just knowing I'm helping something, helping a whole community, a society, that I'm not doing a favor, I'm doing it also for myself and for the future generations. And just bringing more pride in our culture, because language is a really big part of culture. When you revive a whole language, you revive more of the culture, right? Yeah, that's what it is. More meaning to life. But the language, it's very connected to the land. It's very connected to describing landscape, because we're very much nomadic people. We're always on the land, so it makes me realize how much time you have to dedicate to one. You can't learn a language just like that. So it made me realize I have to be more patient and more committed and dedicated if I really want to go through with this. So yeah, that's what I really learned about myself. So it makes you really work on yourself as a person. makes you speak more mindful because like as you're learning, you're not fluent, so obviously you're going to be more mindful of how you're going to say things and how to pronounce things. So it makes you more mindful, patient, and it really makes you more dedicated and things you really want to enjoy doing. I ideally like to thank anyone that really comes up and encourage me to say something right, and especially whoever I ask, like, how did you say this? I really thank them for not, dismissing me and just they're really encouraging and making sure I say things right. Especially like whoever I grew up with, like I grew up with my grandmother. She spoke really good English, but she also spoke really good Inuvik. So I'm really thankful that she spoke that around me, and also like my aunts and uncles. Even if they're just joking, I'm just glad to hear it. I'm really thankful for elders that are still speaking it, almost barely even speaking English. So thankful that they're still around, and I hope they I can take advantage of them still being there, helping me learning this for you. Wait, can I?
Hi, young people all in the room. I just wanted to quickly introduce you because you missed some introductions of who we are, who's in the background facilitating this. My name is Alyssa Carpenter. I'm born and raised from Inuvik and Sax Harbor in the region. I'm Inuvialuit, Gwich'in, and Dene. And I'm so happy you all are here this morning to absorb these beautiful videos. And I'm participating from Whitehorse. I wish to be with you all, but I'm supporting our Western Arctic Youth Collective remotely. In the crowd, there are some people who are part of our team. You've seen JC Firth Hagen, you've seen Bobby Rose Cooey, and also online we have Holly Jones. All of them are staff and supports, and then we also had some folks open and start us off in a good way, such as our Mayor of Inuvik, Deputy Chief and Grand Chief of Gwich'in Tribal Council, our Mayor of Inuvik, and of course why we were all here and brought together. We're the group that brought these videos here. They're so important. And what I'm going to encourage you all is to watch all these videos. There's many beautiful videos that are circumpolar and created. And what we have here is we want to do a quick engagement and have you share your perspective and your reaction and just like also what you hear in these videos and how it relates to you. So I really encourage you to do that. I'm going to show you 2 more videos before I part here, and then we close it off and allow you that space and time. But I really encourage you to look at videos like this. And if these are things you really love to hear and like to see, please let folks there know, and your teachers, let our staff know, let the elders who are in the room, because these are things we want to create for you all. So I'm going to show another quick video here that was actually made by JC. Just give me a moment.
Gishindak, Gishindak, so easily, hi, masicho, shi'idri, so neatly, gaishindaikwa, gaishindai. We are the Caribou people. My heart is half a caribou. Since time immemorial, we have followed the caribou, depending on it for survival, our clothing, our food, our shelter. My heart is half a caribou because I could not exist without the caribou, and the caribou could not exist without me. I wanted to tell a story about the stigma around mental health, how we don't talk about it, the silence. I wanted to talk about social issues, alcoholism, suicide, substance abuse, but instead I will tell another story, a story of my juju. My grandma Hagen was a Indian residential school survivor, although I don't know what she went through, if it was good or bad. She lost her first child to influenza. Being in the bush, there were no doctors or healthcare professionals around. She raised 10 children as a single mother and stopped them from going to Indian residential schools. She didn't trust them no matter how many times they knocked on her door, saying they will help her feed, clothe, and keep her children warm. Of all that my grandmother has survived and what she would say and how she got through it, I believe that she would say love helped her survive. The love of her children, the love of her family, and the love of her grandchildren to be. This is my grandmother's legacy of what she's given me throughout intergenerational trauma. I'm able to stand here today and be a strong Indigenous Gwich'in woman.
And last but not least, we've got one more to showcase you of some from our region.
Two worlds. We are born into two worlds.
We are the generation born after the colonized generation.
Modern and traditional.
Academia or family. Swedish or Sami.
Canadian or Inuvik.
What are we?
Who are we?
Where do we fit?
Too modern for our cultural world.
Too traditional for a southern world.
What is missing?
It feels like a piece is missing in my Swedish identity, in my Sami identity.
In my Canadian identity. In my Inuvik identity.
Two worlds, two standards, separated but connected.
Disconnected.
Connected. A cultural teacher in one world.
A cultural student in the other world.
What is missing? Two standards, two worlds.
So thank you for watching some of the samples of the Project Create videos. I'm gonna turn off Zoom here now in Whitehorse, and I'm gonna encourage you to share. I'm gonna encourage you to participate in our World Cafe, and I'm gonna encourage you also to share on other topics when it comes to our mental health, when it comes to suicide prevention and life promotion, because it's so important that we make space in our lives to talk about this. I am also going to share that if today was a lot of information or was overwhelming, to know that there's an elder in this space and that there are numbers and there are places you can go and reach out for support. One of my favorites I like to recommend young people who are not ready to reach out to others is the Kids Hope Helpline. The Kids Hope Helpline. You can even text it and they respond. And I've done this myself when I need a moment to check in with others. But also know that there are a lot of people who want you to open up about this and reach out for help. So thank you so much for making your morning with us. I encourage you to watch these videos, and I also encourage you to see the other virtual youth panels and presentations and workshops that we're doing. They're all going to be recorded. They're all going to be shared on social media. Please watch them. It's going to be so important. Thank you, Masicho, Kayanaini. Have a really good day and know that we're here for you. And for the other folks on Zoom, I'm going to close. Thank you so much for keeping the Qulliq lit for us. I'm so appreciative of that. And yeah, enjoy yourself, everybody.